in the end of the day, those are tools, and tools are important. But having the system and the process, that needs to be mapped and that needs to exist before we start putting tools. And you can get lost if you're not clear what is the business objective, what are we trying to achieve.
Welcome to the My Future Business Show, where we get you in front of your best audience and keep you there. Not only are we interviewing the biggest names in business to help you become even more successful, we're inviting you to book your spot on the show to help you grow your business. So at the end of the call, make sure you fill in the interview application form at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. Hi and welcome to the My Future Business Show. My name is Nuske and it's an absolute pleasure to have Irina Balyurko with me today. We're going to be talking about Amazon and how it's coming into Australia. But before we do that, would you mind sharing a little bit about yourself with the My Future Business audience?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Rick, for having me here.
It's a pleasure.
Well, I spend a lot of time during a day on Amazon, and believe me, I'm not shopping, I'm working. So in other words, as an Amazon consultant, I help small businesses launch and grow big on Amazon.
Well, that's fantastic. I just love to, first off, before we get into the nuts and bolts of the Amazon side of things, what do you like to do in your downtime? Do you like to travel? Do you like to read? What's some of the things you like doing?
I love travel. That was actually one of the reasons why I quit my corporate job, because the 2 weeks a year just wasn't cutting out for me.
Is it?
And then I have two little kids. I have almost 3 and almost 6-year-olds, so they keep us busy.
Oh, snap. Same here.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I don't know. Is there such a thing as downtime with them? Our oldest actually has more stamps in his passport than I did when I was 30. So.
Wow, that's a great position to be in, isn't it?
I think so. I don't know if he appreciates it yet. Hopefully he will when he's older.
So to help our audience understand a little bit more about you, would you mind sharing how you got involved with Amazon?
So a few years ago, after about 15 years, little over 10 actually years in corporate world, I had a midlife crisis where I realized that my life is going absolutely different direction than how I envisioned my ideal life should be. Mm-hmm. And as a result of that midlife crisis, I reinvented myself and I followed what I was really interested and passionate about, which was Amazon, e-commerce. It absolutely fascinated me. And, in specifically Amazon in US and in Europe has been around for a while.
Yeah.
So it was already booming. It was already had all the signs of being the beast that it is now over here in North America. So I started, first I, learned everything in the trenches myself. And then because I had strong business background, I spent many years working for Goldman Sachs, which I don't know if it's a big investment bank here.
Yep.
So I just kind of parlayed that experience into consulting and helping businesses grow. Small businesses grow big on Amazon.
It's a fantastic thing to be involved with. Could you tell us a little bit about the journey for Amazon in Australia so far?
One of the big perks of Amazon, one of those big levers that it holds here, for consumers is the speed of delivery and that very reliable for prime customers, the 2-day guaranteed delivery. And we've here learned to depend on it. For example, I buy everything I could possibly can on Amazon, of course,
Yep.
like most of the country. But I think in Australia, because it's so spread out and but the way I understand it is that really the majority of population on two opposite sides of the country, it's definitely experience of logistics issues. Mm-hmm. And also it just posted corporate results, Amazon that is, and it posted small loss, but don't let that fool you. Jeff Bezos, which is, who's CEO, very, very shrewd business person. So I think it's just a matter of time where Amazon will dominate e-commerce landscape in Australia. So I think for businesses that are in a product-based world, brick and mortar, it's very wise to really focus on that and get on that as early as possible to have a first mover advantage.
I agree with you. I mean, I purchased from Amazon when they weren't in Australia, and I had a refund that I had to deal with, and within a handful of days across the world, they had refunded my money. The product was gone. It was sent back, and I had a seamless experience. And I think, like any any businesses that are starting to come into the Australian market, there's going to be those teething sort of processes, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. I agree. And I do have a question though on that, Greg. So you ordered something from Amazon US?
Yes, that's correct.
And okay. Because interesting that they just blocked recently, if you're located in Australia, you're, from what I understand, you're not able to buy on Amazon.com unless...
This was a while ago.
Okay,
At least 12 months prior to our conversation.
Okay. Yes, it's been a while. Okay, so yes, teething, definitely some growing pains. I can see Amazon take, probably a few quarters to really get going. And I think with them rolling out Prime in June,
Yep.
which is the service here in the U.S., it's $99 a year. Well, it's actually, they raised the price to $119. And you have that 2-day delivery. You have a lot of other perks like streaming video and other special deals. So I think they're probably going to be really careful because the most important thing for Amazon is customer experience.
Yeah.
And I see that with my clients that as sellers, the reality is that we're not as important as customers. So that's kind of a part of the playing rule, so to say. But from customer perspective, that's why Amazon is so powerful, because everything, just based on your own experience, right? Everything is about customer experience.
Absolutely. And, if you think about this behemoth for what it really is, if you look behind just your Amazon shop front, there are so many other services they provide, aren't there?
Oh, absolutely. I mentioned video, which I use. I switched from Netflix to Amazon streaming. And because I wanted to watch certain British shows, I had to upgrade to another level of streaming. So it's like I wanted it done on. So it's like it's a spider web. My household now, everything is built with Amazon. And I wanted to get Amazon Echo, which is the voice activation, which is pretty much where the future is now. And my husband told me no, because you can just, you say it, Alexa, I need diapers, and it's there.
I think about other things that they provide, just so everybody's got a bit of a perspective. I'm thinking about, their Amazon SES, Simple Email Services. They've got hosting for anybody who does videos on their website. Like you say, the spider web is quite significant, isn't it?
Yes, and yes, the Amazon Web Services, AWS, yes, I didn't mention that, because that is really the interesting piece, is that the consumer aspect of it, the marketplace, is actually, it's more of a loss leader for Amazon if you look at their 10Qs or any corporate reports, but they make most of their money really for those business services of providing web hosting and that support. So yes, you're right, it's really a lot more than we see right now. So I think the next one is going to be literally space shuttle to the moon from Amazon. Absolutely. And I'm not joking.
I've looked at your background, and it's very interesting given the seniority that you've held in the corporate environment. I'd love to just spin a little bit back to that and talk about that transition away from the corporate environment into this new realm at the time, which was Amazon, and how that went for you early on. Could you share a bit of that journey with us?
Oh, absolutely. I would love to, because it was, I'm going to share some of my mistakes, some of the things that I wish I would have done differently. So maybe some of your listeners that are about to do similar transition, hopefully learn something from that as well. I was fairly successful, at Goldman Sachs, and I made the assumption that the same trajectory of success I can, transfer to building my own business. And I also have, MBA, master's in business. So I thought, I'm so savvy, I'm so good. And this is going to be just just
a walk in the park.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be fun, which it was. But what the reality, when it really hit, that, as a business owner, you're completely responsible for everything in your business, for sales, for product development, for delivery, for marketing, in the beginning at least. And I realized that I really had a lot of roadblock and kind of issues around selling. So I had to work a lot through that, really grow into that identity that, okay, so I have a lot of value to deliver. and it is my responsibility right now. For example, we're speaking about Amazon in Australia, and I would like to get as much as possible to get attention because it's so critical if you have brick and mortar business to really start a patient to Amazon now. So, around that, then also I realized that those water cooler conversations, and I was fortunate to have great managers along the way and great team, and not having that I really felt very lonely. And, working from home is great. It's a lot of flexibility, but that loss of network, it really got me almost depressed, and I didn't quite realize what it was. So then it really made me focus on building network of, other business owners and entrepreneurs and being intentional about it and getting out of, my own little bubble. So that was challenging. So those probably would be two really big things. And I think also I had, because a lot of my peers, Amazon consultants or, or that own Amazon consulting agencies came from Amazon.
Yeah.
Because it's a very logical transition. You gain inside knowledge and then you start your own agency. And because I did work for Amazon, I thought it was a downfall, but it was. Then eventually I realized it's kind of crazy because I learned Amazon. I opened account. I learned it myself. I've gone through all that experience, frustrations, so I don't talk about it from perspective of knowledge. I talk it from doing, right? So that was, I think, also realizing where, that a lot of it can transfer from all the prior experiences and really channel into the new focus or a new passion. There's a lot more that I can offer from my prior experience. And that, again, took me probably at least a couple of years to really, really embrace that.
There's a real solid takeaway there that, where a lot of people try to set up these businesses based on theory, and anybody can do a Google search and learn anything they want. But I think the proof is in the pudding, isn't it? You have to actually apply and see profit and see something coming in for your efforts.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Did you find that there was a particular market you preferred rather than going into every area of the Amazon ecosystem?
Yes, there were certain tides and waves, so to say, in the Amazon, because there was a lot of, especially internet marketing world opened up. Start your Amazon business, generate 100,000 in 30 days, and kind of a sit in the beach somewhere in Australia,
They are everywhere.
Yes, everywhere. And there was a lot of small, just kind of a regular people that wanted to make extra money went into Amazon, making what we call private label products. So you buy from manufacturer, you put your own label, and you try to sell it and make money from it. And a lot of that was in supplement space. That is really big one. So that one is really hard to, right now, I'm not saying that you cannot really do well in it, but I think it would be important to really be an established business where you have your already existing branding, you know who you are, you understand your customer base and who's your avatar, your target customer. I actually have, I love all my clients just to say out there, to me, it's really more of, is the business solid and healthy? It's probably more important than what vertical it's in. However, I've had really some interesting track record with food and beverage category. And when I think about it, is that where we've been buying shoes and books online for a while, but buying groceries online, that is still fairly recent within the last 5 years. And Amazon itself has made a lot of push in that area, which means they see the potential as well.
Absolutely. I mean, we've occasionally purchased all of our groceries online in Australia, at least, and through the major outlets, but certainly not Amazon. So I guess that's a watch this space, isn't it?
Oh yes, absolutely. I would say if you are, if you make grocery, food and beverage in that category, and it's not perishable, Amazon is the place to be, even though it doesn't quite probably seem that right now.
Thank you so much for sharing what you're sharing with us. I have a very poignant question about software. I see a lot of these promoters pushing, buy this software and it's like a one-click solution for becoming an Amazon marketplace seller. Could you tell us a little bit about your process as opposed to, is it software only? Is it anything to do with software at all, or is it just manual stuff? How does it work?
Right. Oh, I hate those. Sorry, it's a strong word, but no, I should say hate. But to me, so I also have a strong, because I'll go, and I also did software development, process automation. So I have strong background there, and I know enough to understand. And I see that from my clients and how I work with clients, that in the end of the day, those are tools, and tools are important. But having the system and the process, that needs to be mapped, and that needs to exist before we start putting tools. And because often with tools, it seems that there's bells and whistles, there's all these features, and you can get lost if you're not clear what is the business objective, what are we trying to achieve, how do we measure, what is our KPI, right? What is our key performance indicator? And once we're clear on that, then yes, we need to look for tools. Having said that, I definitely use tools and I'll give you some examples. For example, when I, do proposals, or I do potential estimate for potential clients, there's tools out there to estimate sales on Amazon. So, so you can kind of get a sense of how many, widgets, so to say, sell a month, dollars wise.
Yeah.
Tools for keyword research. Absolutely, that goes for advertising and for product page listing optimization, SEO. There's also tools that is really more for, how to rank well on Amazon. But from business perspective, a lot of my clients use inventory management. That is a key one, because often you have, besides Amazon, you have your website,
yeah.
You have other marketplaces. So syncing that is very critical, because inventory management is such a key piece in this business. So that's probably would be, so it's more of a business kind of a related,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I think the main point, so to your question, yes, there are some, and they can definitely help, and they should be used with a caveat that their underlying process and goal of why we're using them is very clear. That has nothing to do with the tool.
So do you recommend for somebody who's as green as the grass is long, do they just set up their initial Amazon business on the Amazon interface, or do they need a website? How does that work?
Oh, right. So you can, so you would need to open Amazon seller account, and it's, there's certain steps you go through, just verifying that you're a legitimate business. They ask you for all the basic questions. And then you can literally put up your products to be available to sell on Amazon. So, you create your product pages. And really in theory, that is as simple as that. So making product pages, updating your images of the products and writing copy, description, making sure product is available, and you're ready to go. You can also use advertising within Amazon. However, often putting them up and available for sale is not enough to actually sell. So that's where the marketing piece comes in. However, Rick, sorry, I can just mention here, because for sometimes it's worth the money to do the assessment, worth the time and effort to do a quick assessment before, well, does Amazon make sense? It does make for most businesses, but I think it's still worth to make sure, okay, do I have expiration dates that are long enough? Does it fit my overall business strategy? So kind of is that the right direction to go? Because it is a new marketplace, it's a new channel, so it will take time and effort.
I'm so excited about this topic. I have so many questions. I wonder, you talked about earlier about white labeling, I think you called it, as opposed to, just buying, promoting as a quote unquote affiliate of Amazon. Is that different, or is their affiliate program the same as the business side? I'm trying to understand that part.
Oh, certainly. It is different. Oh, let's just say there's, a lot of product review blogs. And if you have an audience, so you would order, you'd set up affiliate. There's affiliate program. Actually, I'm not sure if it's in Australia. It's definitely here. But if it's not, it's just a matter of time again. So you have your own kind of links to that product. And when you write a review how great this product is, you show the images and how you loved it, and here, if you want to buy it, here is a link to Amazon. When somebody clicks on that and purchases it, you get, part of that revenue as affiliate. Yeah. So that can be, fairly passive, especially if you have large audience. It can add up. Mm-hmm. But then there is physical products where you either sell your brand, which is if you're established business, you have a shop in Perth and you've been selling there for 20 years, and then you get your brand, your products on Amazon. So that is your, the physical product.
This is really useful for anybody who's listening to the show who wants to transition from just the traditional bricks and mortar space to the online space, because from what I can tell in the 21st century, that if you're not online, where are you?
Oh, I absolutely agree. At least it is in U.S., in North America, that if often I talk to brands where they don't necessarily even want to go on Amazon. They don't feel it's relevant for their business. They feel good about their website, but they have to, because what happens is that the more you are, let's say if you're in stores, other people start selling your products, so they become resellers. So for example, Rick, if you, again, using a brick and mortar shop in Perth, right? Yep. I go in and I buy, I don't know, of course, let's say I buy some.
A book.
I can't think of a book. Oh my goodness. As I'm staring at a book. I'll buy a book. And I have my own Amazon seller account. I put that book up for sale, and when it sells, I get most of that money, right? Amazon does take fees. Yep. So let's say if that book is yours, right, Rick, you wrote that book, and you didn't put it up on Amazon to be available for sale, I am the one that is selling your product, and I put product description or book description that may not necessarily be what you want. Maybe I put a wrong image. Maybe I put a wrong book cover. So people that are shopping on Amazon get perception about your brand, from somebody who is irresponsible, a reseller as me, who just was looking for a quick buck. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So, and I think it's just, unfortunately, it's just the more Amazon grows, the more it becomes a necessity just to control, if you are just in business, your brand perception to be on Amazon.
Yeah, well, there's some very important points of consideration for those who are thinking about getting involved with Amazon. It is obviously coming into Australia. It's going to pick up momentum fairly rapidly. When somebody wants to work with you, what is the process there?
Certainly. So first of all, I like to have a conversation where, so on my website, sellerladder.com, you can contact me and I respond to myself. This is part of the business, I respond to every query where, we just talk, because I want to make sure that, is that really right for you? Because I've seen your red flags. I really don't want to go further. I'd rather tell you now. And then if it seems that it's a good fit for you as a business, then the way I can help is either do it for me or do it with me. And do it for me, say, okay, so Rick, you open the account, and then you say, okay, here you go, take it over. So I literally take it over. I do everything except shipping products.
So, and that all the shipping of the products is obviously taken care of by Amazon as the behemoth that they are. And that is one of the wonderful things about this. So anybody who's listening, there, look for the links below the call, sellerladder.com, and I believe you have some options there for people to work through to get in contact with you. It's just been absolutely wonderful to share a little bit more about Amazon. Very exciting topic. Thanks again for coming on the My Future Business Show.
Thank you so much, Rick. It's great to chat.
It's been fun having you on the call with us today. Now click on that big red subscribe button and make sure you leave us a comment, share us with your friends, and join the growing list of leading entrepreneurs who have enjoyed their time on the show at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews.